You know, you're a hard one to get a hold of. But I guess that's expected for the commander of the commando squad. Yup, rumor has it you'll receive a new unit soon, courtesy of the central government for your outstanding work for your first year as a commander. They're providing you with an older body version of Snow White, back to when she first debuted as a goddess. She's a bit smaller than you're used to, and a bit more, well, childish. Well, the central government couldn't give you an older body model without a brain. So they offered the original Snow White an opportunity to swap between the two bodies whenever she'd like. I hear she was a bit hesitant at first, but eventually gave in. However, for some unknown reason, she reverts back to an old memory state whenever she's in her old body. Nymph, am I right? Anyway, enough of that. I'm here to give you a rundown of her kit. Much like her older counterpart, Small White, which is what I'll be calling her from now on, is a Burst 3 unit. However, she now specializes in overwhelming her opponents through the sheer quantity of her volleys. Her S1, 7 Dwarfs 5 and 6, increase her ammo count by about 25% per stack, maxing out at 5 stacks. These stacks last for 5 seconds, so make sure she's always firing. It also deals about 188% of her final attack as damage to all enemies within attack range. But you need to remember, both of these need to fill out the prerequisite of landing 30 normal attacks to activate. Her S2, 7 Doors 4, is similar, as it requires 50 normal attacks to deal about 62% of her final attack as damage towards all enemies. Not only that, but it also increases her attack damage by 21% for 10 seconds when using her own burst. Finally, we come to her burst, which brings out the best of her skills. 7 Dwarfs 3 affects Small White by lowering her hit count of her S2 from 50 to 30 for 20 seconds. Furthermore, it increases her attack by 54% for the same duration. And lastly, it grants her infinite ammo for the same amount of time. Her burst works in correlation with her S1 and S2 by allowing them to pop repeatedly without any break to reload. It's an amazing skill for clearing out hordes of raptures effortlessly, as any rapture unfortunate enough to be in Small White's sights is going to be overcome by the sheer amount of bullets bombarding them. Therefore, it's a constant stream of damage for 10 seconds as long as she's hitting her shots. With the addition of a 94% attack increase, this will only further better her skills as it adds to her AoE attacks, making them even more devastating. With her impressive AoE damage making most of the numbers, that means her damage will drop a bit in regard to solo boss damage. But this doesn't mean that she can't hold her own. It just means she specializes in crowd control. Now, I know materials can be scarce, especially with all the Nikkes that you have by your side. So, skill priority should be S1 to S2, and then her burst. You really want to have as much time firing as possible, so you can continuously proc her S1 and S2. With her S1 having a built-in max ammo cap increase, you can easily achieve this. Her S2 takes the second spot since it's going to help her reach those high damage numbers in fights, in tandem with her S1. So you want those percentages pretty high as well, so she can spread chaos across the field. The reason why her burst is so low is that you're only increasing her attack percentage buff when you invest in it, while the other two buffs remain the same across all investments. At level 4, it increases her attack by 54% of her own attack, which is amazing at such a low level. Meaning high investment here is really a luxury, and is only needed when you have the materials to spare. I suggest the spread to be 7-7-7, but eventually you want to get to a 10-10-10 if you really like her. Now, shall we talk about her equipment? The main priority here is increased max ammo cap and attack. These work very well into her skills, essentially working as a limit break to them. Everything else is alright at best, with element damage, crit damage and rate, and everything else in that order being from highest priority to lowest priority. Okay, and now we move on to teams. Small White is pretty flexible with her team options. She doesn't need anything too dedicated, to be honest. To assist her combat capabilities, having any Nikke that increases ammo capacity would be wonderful, like Leader. In that sense, I do recommend keeping Small White out of team comps that are focused heavily on last bullet abilities. Furthermore, the other Burst 1 option you can consider if you lack Leader include anyone who increases attack. For example, Miranda, if Small White is your highest attacking unit, the Dazzling Pearl Duo, Red Hood, or N102. For Burst 2 options, I would have to include Polly for the huge attack buff, so Small White's burst cycle can get even stronger. Novel is a good option too for solo boss capabilities, or Marciana if you need some sustainability. For Burst 3, you should just prioritize extra damage, meaning another DPS unit would be fine. Whether it be Modernia, Scarlet, or Drake, anything goes as long as you know what you're doing. For a quick recap, let's go through what we just discussed. Small White is an AoE specialist who can clear fields like no other. Her skill spread should be even across all fields as they all work well with one another. But if you must prioritize them, you should go S1, S2, and then her burst. Her equipment should consist of max ammo and attack stats, but element damage and crit rate and damage aren't too bad either. Team comps aren't too complicated with her as well, as she is pretty flexible as off damage for any team comp. But if you want to revolve a team around her, be sure to focus on increasing her attack stat or her ammo count. Final thoughts? She's a great unit, considering that the central government is just giving her to you. Definitely someone you want on your teams for crowd controlling swarms of raptures. Aside from that, she would act as a great DPS alongside your main DPS. If I were to rank her, she'd definitely be up there with the higher ranks of Nikke's and on par with her older counterpart, just more crowd control focused. Well, Commander, that should be all the information I have at the moment. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Oh, would you look at the time? I should let you get back to your party, huh? Toodles, the arc is depending on you. Annie, in and out.